Hi, Steve from Custom Table Tennis, and as I said in the last video, I was going to look at this in just a little bit more detail. I don't want to spend hours on it. You can watch people using this stuff, far better players than me. But this is more about the benefits of why somebody would use a short pimpled rubber. The Spinlord Waran is the original one. The company was founded in 2009 and we like them. We've been dealing with them a long time. Quality, it's made in China. Doesn't say on this packet, but some of the others do. It's made in China, but the quality of these things is exceptional. I've had sheet after sheet after sheet. I wouldn't like to think how many I've used. I use a 1.5 and I started with a 1.5 on here. Why would you even contemplate going to a short pimple? Well, if you're standing up to the table and you're blocking and hitting and you're driving and you're punching and you're not too obsessed about spin, or you want to counter your opponent's spin, a little bit like the lady in my team does, she just blocks and counters and hits, and the guys don't like playing her because they can lose. What's going to happen when you block and hit with something like this is, if you're hitting with the reverse rubber, when the ball hits the table, it's going to kick or sit up a little bit. Even if you're not trying to impart topspin, it's impossible to not put some form of topspin on if you're blocking and you're over the top of the ball. When you do the same with a short pimple, you block and you hit, the trajectory is going to stay low. So if you imagine with the ball, you've blocked with this and the trajectory, it's going to skid. It's going to come up a little bit, it's got to do because of the law of physics. But when you block and hit with this, it hits the table, it skids, and it can disrupt your opponent. If you're playing a top class player, they're not going to be bothered about any of this stuff anyway. But good. If you're close to the table, I know players, 2-3 meters, very, very good player over in Leeds. I think he's ranked, he was number one in the over 60s, I don't know if he still is. He has a pimple on one side and he just thumps the ball with it. And it's very, very difficult to play against. For all those people, I will get it in because I've heard it over the years, and various pimple players will have heard something, oh, pimples should be banned. Just get a grip and learn how to play against it. That's generally what I say. This has been out 40 years longer than reverse rubber. So literally anybody who poo-poos pimples, I've no time for it really. The point is, it's ITTF approved and it's not banned. And it's not likely to be banned anytime soon. This is a straightforward, and look at the top players. We've got Mima Ito using a version of it. I think she's on Nitaku. You've got the other guy, he's on Raxapio. Top world-class players use this stuff because it suits their style of play. Liu Guliang, Chinese coach, I don't think he still is now. Top world-class player, uses this stuff. It wasn't this particular one, obviously. But they're all about the muchness. It depends on the pimple configuration. If you look at that one, you look at the pimples there, you can pick it up. Those pimples, they're not vertical, they run across. They run across on the Warans. We'll have a look at the weight on the Waran one, and then I'll move quickly on to the other. So this probably was one of their first rubbers. I don't know if it was 2009. The other thing is, it's got that little bit of tuning there. You can see it has. So it's got a little bit of glue effect. So it always comes like that. And this is 2mm. I've used 1.5. I'll move on to that in a minute. We'll just do the weight. 50 grams on a 2mm. When you think your 10-inches and what have you, and your MXPs and all them sorts of rubbers, when you think you're getting on to 75 towards 80 grams on a sheet of rubber, you can imagine that this is going to take a lot of weight off the bat. Point I was going to bring out before I move on to the other two is, on a 1.5, it's the trajectory is going to stay lower. So you're blocking your hit with that, it's a flatter hit. And then when you move up to 1.8, it starts to behave more like a reverse rubber. And then, unless you're just out and out attack and you're not bothered about it behaving more like a reverse rubber, when you get to 2 mil, something like this, it's not going to stay as low. I don't know why that is. I haven't got the time to look into the physics of why that might be. Somebody will know all about that. But the amount of players that we've got on this over the years is absolutely countless. And we only pick them out if they're up to the table and they're just banging the ball, backhand or forehand. I know we've got probably at least half a dozen at our club with this particular rubber. So this is the original one, and then so I have only ever used that in 1.5. I've tried the others, but it didn't suit my game because I block. Then they brought out Waran II, which it's probably got the same number. It's probably exactly the same. I think they are. Yeah, I mean, I understand why that companies do this, because you're paying the ITTF every time you have a new rubber and a new number. You're paying extra. So what the companies tend to do is stick with the same rubber and call it Waran 1, 2 and 3. So we've got Waran, the original. That's Waran 2. But unless you know your sponges, you're not going to know. Obviously, if you keep the packet, which we generally send the packets out, so it's not going to say anything different. So anybody looking at your bat won't know whether it's 1, 2 and 3 unless they know the rubbers. So Waran 2, and I may be wrong, I should have done my homework first, but at the time this was only available in this quite hard dense sponge in 2 mil, which was taken off one of the other rubbers that they've got, and then they combine the two, and this is a really good thumping, hitting rubber. It'll go where you want it to go, but it's not gonna behave completely like a short pimple. It's going to arc a little bit because it's the 2 mil, so it's going to come up a little bit and not skid through as low. And also the other issue for me, the tuning on that one as well, was the weight. So the issue was the weight for me, basically because I think Pimple players, yeah, so you're getting onto sort of the realms of a normal rubber there. That would be like something like Vega Elite or one of the lighter normal rubbers, because of the density of the sponge. But it didn't suit me. I played with it for a while. The blocking wasn't as tight, the trajectory was a little bit higher, and then recently, and I know I've got it on, I think within the last, certainly the last 3 or 4 months. So this is the latest version, Waran 3. I didn't think I'd come off Waran 1. It's got this purple sponge on it, which again, it's got some more, it's a little bit of a stinky one. This smells a little bit more than the others, so there's something gone on with this sponge and I don't know fully what it is. This, again, look, you've got the same number, because he's not going to give the ITTF a load of money for introducing a brand new rubber. It makes sense to have a 1, 2, 3, and all the other brands do it as well. So sometimes you buy a Jeweler T-Bar Andro and you don't know what it is unless you keep the packet, because unless they start putting the numbers on there like Exium do, they've got a 47.5 and a 52.5, and then you know what you've got. And I think other companies will eventually have to follow. But this one, I tried it in the 1.5 and I haven't taken it off. So it gives me everything that Waran 1 does, but on the 1.5 it stayed on my bat. Yes, the weight was, this is 2 mil. The weight was about another 4 or 5 grams, but it's still light. I think mine was about 48 grams on the 1.5. Put it on, liked it straight away. There was no learning curve with this one. I was on with it because I've played with Waran, so I know all the bat angles and the hitting, and if I twiddle, I can block off both sides. And then if the ball's up, you can hit it with this stuff. Even on a 1.5, on a slowest blade you can get, I can still hit. Linda, my teammate, she's basically got 1.5 of this particular rubber on both sides. Although on one of her bats, if you've watched the other videos, you'll see that we've put her a rubber on to try, which is purple. Which incidentally, I've got a black sheet. I haven't got it here to show you actually, but because this is about Waran. But I will try this other rubber. But just love this rubber. If you play with normal rubbers and you've got concerns, in fact, I coincidentally had a lady here, not yesterday, the day before, and she wound me up at first. She said, "Oh, that Waran, oh, that rubber that you put me on, I absolutely hate it." I went, "Oh, no, dear." And she said, "No, I'm joking, I love it." And she's actually had people moaning at her, "Oh, pimples, oh." Anyway, we won't go into that. So, just to look at the Warans, brilliant rubber, competes with, and I can't remember the price. I don't know if they're $27.99 or something. When you consider, and there's hundreds of reviews of these rubbers with people playing with them, when you consider your Sackers and your T-bars and all your jeweler, your express rubbers, whatever they are might be, there's hundreds of them. When you consider this is $27.99 and then you're paying $44.9 upwards for something that probably won't have the same control, because I can guarantee you I must have tried 40 to 50 of short pimple rubbers over the years that promise this and promise the other, but it won't have the control and the touch and the feel of these. So I said I'd do it. I've been putting it off. Got this one out of the way. Hit the like and subscribe, and if you want us to do more videos, as I say, hit the like and subscribe, and get your stuff from customtabletennis.co.uk. We're just a family run business and we're trying to make an effort here. It's time consuming. We've got through this one without any interruptions, but the last one I did, if you saw that, we had 3 phone calls and then we're back to it again. And then so we'll crack on. We've got bats to make, we've got things to do. Talk to you next time. Bye for now.